Hello, friends. This is Dr. Shashi Agarwal. I welcome you all. Hoping you all are safe, healthy, and enjoying the life. Today, our topic is basic concepts of the macroeconomics, which we are going to cover in two parts. This is the first part. In this video, we are going to understand what is the meaning of factors of production, what is the meaning of factor payments, factor incomes, what is the meaning of net factor income earned from abroad, transfer payments, what is production boundary, goods, final goods, and intermediate goods. This topic is relevant to the student of plus two introduction to macroeconomics. This is also relevant for the student of economics for finance. This is also relevant for many competitive exam. This is also relevant for UGC net commerce economics and management. If you find this video useful, please like it, share it, and subscribe my channel. Shashi Agarwal. It is also available in Hindi at my second channel, that is the Shashi Agarwal Economics and Law classes. So, hello guys, this is also my app which you can download from the Google Play Store. Addison app. This is my WhatsApp number. This app is related to this app is beneficial for the student of commerce, economics and management. Various courses related to economics, commerce and management have been uploaded at this app, and the methodology is through live lectures, recorded lectures, descriptive notes, and summarized notes are also given for the quick reason. Doubt sessions are there, test series as per the requirement. The link of my store and the link of my app will be shared in the description box. So, what is macroeconomics? Is that part of the economic theory? Here we are studying the economy as a whole. Like we are studying the problem from the economy as a whole. Like we are studying aggregate demand, aggregate supply, aggregate investment, aggregate employment, national income, general price level, aggregate consumption, aggregate investment. It is also called the income theory or employment theory. So, what are factors of productions? These are called the primary inputs. These are called the primary inputs, which are used in production of goods and services to make the profit. These factors of production means land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, or organization or enterprise. Household are the owners of the factors of production because they provide the factors of production to the firm, and they are also the consumer of goods and services which are manufactured by the firm. Household provide factor services, and they are the consumer of the goods and services which are manufactured by the organization. The firms produce goods and services, and they hire the services of household, and whatever goods they produce they sell it to the household. Land is a factor of production, so land gets rent, labor gets wages, capital gets interest, and the entrepreneur or enterprise, the organization, gets the profits. Factor payments or factor income, the income received by factors of production, the payment which is made by the firm to the factors of production is the income when it is received by the factors of production. Like rent is received by the land, it's income for the land, income for the uh, income to the factor who supplies the land to the firm, and it is payment which is made by the producers for rendering factor services in the production process are called factor income. The income which is received by factors of production because they render their services in the production process, for which they receive the payment from the firm. And when it is received by the factors of production, it is called income. When it is made by the firm, it is called payment. Such amount is called factor payment for the producer because they are paying it to the factors of production, because they are using the services of the factors of production, like compensation to employee, the labor, rent to the land, interest to the capital, profit to the organization. Net factory income earned from abroad. So, what is the difference between factory income received from the rest of the world? It means like we're living in India, leaving India, the rest of the world from the abroad, the factory income which we receive from the rest of the world, and factory income which is paid to the rest of the world. So, net factory income from abroad is the difference between the factory income earned from abroad and minus the factory income which is paid to the abroad. Factory income from abroad means is the income earned by the normal resident of a country from the rest of the world in the form of wages and salaries, rent, interest, and profits. Our normal resident, when they earn from their factors for supplying to the abroad, to the rest of the world, in the form of wages, salaries, rent, interest, and profit, it is known as a factory income earned from the abroad. Factory income to the abroad is the factory income which is paid to the normal resident of the other country, non-resident for their factor services within the economic territory. Net factor income earned from abroad. So, what are the components of the net factor income from the abroad? Net compensation to employee, net income from the property and the entrepreneurship, net retained earning. Net compensation to employee refer to the difference between the income from work received by the resident worker living or employed abroad for less than 1 year, and similar payment which is made to non-resident who are staying here or employed within the domestic territory of the country for less than 1 year. This difference could be positive, this difference could be negative. When we make more payment than we receive, then it is negative. But if we receive more than the payment, then it is positive. Net income from property and entrepreneurship. It is the difference from the income from the property or entrepreneurship in the form of rent, interest, and dividend received by the resident of the country and the similar payment which is made to the non resident. Net retained earning. That is the difference between the retained earning of the resident companies who are located, which are located abroad, and retained earning of the non-resident companies which are located within the domestic territory of our country. Transfer payment and transfer income. Transfer income is that income which is received without rendering any productive services in return. Like the student, he is getting the scholarship. So it is a transfer income. And when the scholarship is paid, the person who pays the scholarship for him, it is a transfer. Redistribution of income or payment received without rendering any productive service or without goods and services being received in return. Is like I'm getting salary because I'm giving my services. So it is not called transfer payment. Transfer payments are unilateral transfers. These payments are considered to be non-exhaustive because do not directly absorb any resources or they create any output. These are called unilateral payments. Like gifts, we are giving gift. This is also transfer payment. Scholarship to the students, old age pension to the seniors, social security benefits, unemployment compensation, welfare payments, pocket money, war damages, earthquake, disaster compensation. Goods and services, they are essential part of an economy. Goods are tangible. Tangible means which we could see, which we could feel, which we could touch. Like furniture is a good. Goods are tangible as they have physical presence and they can be touched, while services are intangible in nature. The purpose of both goods and services is to provide utility and satisfaction to the consumer. Goods could be stored. Goods could be classified on the basis of durable and non-durable. Durable goods last for a long time. Non-durable goods perish sooner than durable goods, like the bread and butter, bread and milk. They have to be consumed within certain time period. Durable goods, the benefit like the fridge, washing machine, furniture, the benefit of which is taken for many years. When there are goods, when they're sold, there is a transfer of ownership, and certain time period is required for production. Goods could be stored. Goods would be defined as anything that anything wants of need or that can be consumed that could be stocked for future use. Goods will be anything which satisfy the needs of the consumers. Like I'm wearing the shirt, so it satisfy my needs. Services, they are intangible, like teaching, insurance services. They are not physical part of the economy because we cannot touch, we cannot see. They are perishable in nature and they could not be stored. Services lack a physical identity, so it cannot be transferred. Services would be performance of any duty or work for another. Services are not in solid form like goods, rather, it is the performance of the duties in the satisfaction of other wants that could not be stored for further use. Services would be the performance of any duty or work for other. Services are not in the solid form, rather, it is the performance of duty in the satisfaction of other wants that cannot be stored for further use. Production boundary, that is the line around the production sector. As long as goods remain within the production boundary, they're intermediate goods. When a goods comes out of the boundary, it becomes final goods. Like the wheat, when it is converted to the flour, it is intermediate good. When the flour is converted to the bread, it is intermediate good. But bread is a final good, which satisfies the requirement of the consumer. It crosses the production boundary. The goods which are within the production boundary are called intermediate goods. Like farmer X produced wheat worth rupees 4,000, sell it to Y. Y produced flour worth rupees 5,000 and sell it to Z. Z produces bread worth rupees 6,000 and sell it to the consumer. So wheat, flour, these are the intermediate goods because they are within the production boundary. Bread is the final goods which is out of the production boundary, and finally it is sold to the consumer goods. Sorry, it is sold to the consumer.